I refused to take my sister's memories, and she never forgave me. My parents believed emotions were a liability, so they turned our home into a training ground for what they called emotional ascetics, children who could function without attachment, affection, or vulnerability. They claimed that love made people fragile, that empathy was a flaw, and that sentimentality was the root of every failure in society. My mother had a degree in experimental psychology from a diploma mill, and my father was a tech-obsessed prepper who believed future humans would have to shed their feelings to survive. Together, they decided to raise my sister Hannah and me into what they proudly called emotionless prototypes. The system they created was simple and cruel. Every night, we'd sit at the kitchen table and confess the things we felt that day. Fear, joy, anger, hope, anything counted. Then, our parents would run us through what they referred to as memory redistribution sessions, where one of us would have to give up a personal memory so the other could absorb the emotional burden. They believed that trading memories built psychological resilience, and they kept meticulous logs about how inefficient emotions made us. When I turned 9, Dad announced a new rule. Whoever shows the most emotional weakness must surrender their strongest memory to the other child. Mom called it cognitive pruning. Dad called it the elimination of emotional excess. I refused to take Hannah's memories, even when I was ordered to. I couldn't bring myself to steal pieces of her life, even if it meant being punished. Whenever she trembled or cried, Dad would say, "Weakness contaminates the mind." Every time I refused, they locked me in the white room, a windowless space with no sound, no color, no time. I'd sit there for hours with nothing but my heartbeat, wondering if I'd eventually forget who I was on my own. Meanwhile, Hannah changed. She started surrendering memories easily, like she was relieved to lose them. She smiled less. Eventually, she stopped reacting at all. She'd sit at the kitchen table, staring blankly as our parents evaluated our emotional output, nodding along to their lectures about the dangers of human connection. When I begged them to stop, Dad pinned me to the floor and said, "Real strength comes from emptiness." Hannah grew colder, quieter, sharper. She began volunteering to take my memories whenever I hesitated. She told me feelings were an anchor around my neck, and that I'd thank her someday. For a while, I tried to protect her in secret. I'd deliberately lose challenges so she wouldn't have to give anything up. Then they discovered my sabotage. They had installed microphones behind the vents to monitor our emotional collaboration patterns. When they heard me comforting her, they decided I was undermining the entire experiment. Dad grabbed me by the collar, dragged me into the white room, and left me there for nearly 2 days. When I finally came out, Hannah was different. She barely recognized me, literally. She'd been forced to give up her memories of our childhood together, the games, the secrets, the late-night talks under a shared blanket. She looked at me with a carefully controlled blankness and said, "You're holding yourself back. You're holding me back." A week later, she collapsed during class after dissociating so severely she couldn't remember where she was. The school counselor noticed her strange responses, the flat affect, the way she said things like, "My feelings belong to the system." They called child services immediately. When the social worker arrived, my parents proudly demonstrated a memory redistribution session, using old journal entries as emotional triggers. They explained their philosophy in detail, completely unaware that the social worker was horrified. Police came an hour later. Both my parents were arrested for psychological abuse and unlawful experimentation. Hannah and I were separated and placed in different foster homes. I'm nearly 18 now. I'm healing, slowly. My foster family has taught me what real affection feels like, and I'm learning to trust my own feelings again instead of treating them like violations. But I miss Hannah. Not the quiet, emptied-out version my parents sculpted for their twisted experiment. I miss the girl who used to giggle with me under a blanket fort, the sister who knew all my secrets, the person she was before our parents carved her mind into something hollow.